You're listening to The Morning Takeover with Wisdom's Daughter and James Mack on 92.7 WKRA FM, your station for information and inspiration. Breaking news, current events, and trending stories on The Morning Takeover at 9.
And good morning to all of you, our morning takeover listeners and viewers. I'm James Mack, along with our wonderful co-host who's back, Wisdom's daughter. You get ready to hear from her in a little bit. It's just good to have the family back together. That's nice. We'd like to say good morning to all of our wonderful listeners all over. And I'm just glad that you had an opportunity to come and be with us. This is WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial. And we're here this morning to uplift your day, give you some information that might be interesting to you. We're grateful for all of our listeners on our YouTube channel that are coming in. You come on in, and we're over here at uh, at our YouTube page. But right now, I want to do the weather. Listen, we had a event that has occurred, and you know that Hurricane Bill, which is now a tropical depression, as they say, has moved into our area, our regional area. But we got rain this morning, and winds will continue to be a concern today because of the barrel effect. The hurricane or the tropical depression barrel is making its way through the mid south. The temperatures are lower today than they have been. We've been in some real hot weather. They're going to be in the mid 80s on today. We're going to have brief gusts of wind. We might have heavy showers during the day, most of the day on and off. There may be some power outages. You know, there are a lot of people that have trees along their power lines. So expect there might be some power delay, but the power companies are on top of it. Conditions will improve dramatically on Wednesday with sunshine and high temperatures in the 80s. We'll be still cooling off a little bit from this brief turn down of the furnace, but it'll still feel like summer again and the rest of the weekend. So we're going to stay tuned for the rest of our forecast and our coming shows as we do every morning. Again, we're looking at right now it is 72 degrees in Olive Branch. It's 74 in Oxford, and it is 78 degrees at WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial over in Holly Springs, Memphis, Shelby County, all of those areas that our signal carry. It's just good to have all of our wonderful listeners on our YouTube page. Once again, I said that our co-host is back. Hey, Wisdom.
Hey, James.
See, the voice that cries out in the wilderness. Okay, it's so good to have you back. Yeah, that's right. The voice crying in the wilderness. You know, she say she had things to do, but it's just so glad that good to have you back. We like to say hey to Allison too. I said what I said out there. Those people that are listening over on our YouTube channel, we're just appreciative for everyone being here. Come on, Wisdom, and tell us what you've been doing, what's been going on. And you had a birthday and all that stuff. We
I
didn't get no cake, nothing.
I did. I had a birthday, and I didn't make a big deal about it. I didn't announce it. I actually was supposed to go to Vegas, so I decided to postpone that trip for a number of things, work conflicts and everything else. But I actually decided to spend my birthday with my son. I took him to Six Flags, to the water park. We had a really good time. Listen, those water slides ain't no joke.
Yeah.
so, but,
Okay.
it's all about quality time. And as a working career woman and radio personality, oftentimes work life balance can be challenging, and I think it's important to make sure that you make time for family. And so, yeah, I could have gone out to the club with the girls and went on vacation, but I decided that I was going to spend my birthday with my son. So thank you guys for giving me just some time to do that, to take care of some other family obligations. But yeah, I'm back and excited to be back.
Well, that's wonderful, and it's just a good opportunity for us to continue to give you the very best in the show. And We appreciate Wisdom and all that she does here. And it takes a whole lot to put this production together, but we're just glad. There are a lot of us that are, we're versatile, but sometimes you got to get that rest that you need. Listen, we're going to be talking about several things. Wisdom has a story and I have one also. We're going to be talking about this situation that's happening here in Mississippi. But let Wisdom come on in and give us a update, talk about current events. What have you been doing since you've been away?
Yeah, there's been, oh gosh, there's been so much going on. We can hardly keep up. Not going to go into it in grave detail, but obviously many of you have been watching, and after Biden's performance, people are calling for him to potentially step down, which he has vehemently said that he is not going to do. He is fully capable of leading this country, which I personally believe. There's been talks about Kamala Harris potentially having to step up in the event that, the decision is made for Biden to come out of the race. Well, I don't think Biden's coming out of the race. Interesting conversation. Even Donald Trump himself said, no, I don't think Biden's coming out of the race. He's going to stick with it. And so it was really interesting to hear the different viewpoints. I was listening to the Breakfast Club and hearing some of their particular viewpoints. And one of the hosts there seems to not have very much confidence in the DNC, and stating that there's a lot of chaos and confusion, which I don't necessarily agree. But again, a lot of things going on. You talked in great detail about Project 2025. And again, a lot of it is very concerning. But what else is concerning is so, James, there was a human plague case confirmed out west. And so I want to talk about that a little bit. And then we've got to get into this Diddy stuff, because Diddy can't seem to stay out of trouble. Just can't seem to stay out of trouble. So Colorado health officials have confirmed a human case of the bubonic plague. You heard me. Bubonic plague in Pueblo County, sparking concerns regarding the potential spread of the disease, which can be fatal if not treated. And so the Pueblo Department of Public Health and Environment noted that the department is currently working with the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment to investigate this case. So they haven't released information regarding the person who was reported to have contracted the plague. There was a press release that provided a warning to the public, stating that we advise all individuals to protect themselves and their pets from the plague. And according to Fox News, Dr. Timothy Brewer, a professor professor of medicine and epidemiology at the University of California in Los Angeles, he explained that the bubonic plague is caused by a bacterium known as Yersinia pestis, which is believed to have first been introduced in North America around 1900. This is 2024, and we're talking about, a century plus old disease. Now, since its introduction 120 years ago, it has become endemic in ground squirrels, rodents, and things like that in rural southwestern states in the U.S. Now, according to the CDC's website, while the plague can affect people of all ages, what they're seeing is that about half of the reported cases are found in individuals between ages 12 and 45. This is really scary. So what I didn't know is that 1,000 to 2,000 cases of the plague are reported to the World Health Organization every year, but only an average of 7 cases are reported in the United States every year. So again, according to Fox News, the bubonic plague is fatal to 30 to 60% of untreated cases. However, if patients are treated with antibiotics, the fatality rate is less than 5%. I still don't like those numbers. But again, this is concerning. So here are some of the symptoms of the plague. They include fever and chills, severe headaches, muscle aches, swollen lymph nodes, nausea, and vomiting. Now, these are symptoms that can be from a number of different illnesses or diseases. So it's interesting that those are the symptoms of the bubonic plague. Now, they said that more common risk of exposure in the U.S. is from pets, rodents, and fleas, that pets sometimes can be infected when they encounter an infected flea or an infected rodent and may pass it along to their owners from either a bite or if their pet is ill. So they're saying that the best way to prevent the spread of the plague is to avoid contact with fleas and rodents. And one way to do this is to ensure that your home is rodent proof. And I would say pestilence proof, bug proof, by eliminating places where rodents and bugs may hide. And so if you do have a concern, definitely call an exterminator. They're urging people to treat their pets promptly if they discover a flea infestation, and to seek proper treatment from a veterinarian if your pet becomes ill. Again, this is really frightening because you're talking about a 100 plus old disease that we're seeing here in the United States. Yeah, James, do you have pets? Do you have dogs? Do you have pets?
No, 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 no. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to say it like that. No, I don't.
Well, can I stay with you?
As a
Because I
child,
have two dogs.
okay, that's all right. No, it's cool.
Can we stay with
I'm
you?
not into, I'm not into the furry creatures and things like that. I am. I mean, it depends on. Now, we had a dog as a child, and he was a very good protector and everything. He was a family oriented. If you weren't family, he would attack people, and wouldn't. Nobody ever got hurt, but he let you know you're not a part of my family. But I have a friend, dear friend of mine, Yvonne. She knows who she is, and she has very many. She has a number of pets, and some that make me nervous. I ain't gonna tell y'all what they are, but things makes me nervous. So I don't want to lose a pet. They get loose or something like that, and the hamster up in the bed, and some get to crawling or something like that, and I have a
Oh,
fit. I already can't roll off the couch as it is. But it's interesting that that's interesting.
well,
That's
now
interesting.
if that's not frightening enough, and I'll make a comment in just a minute about all the pets that I grew up with, and the pets that were in my family prior to my birth.
Was
So
it a
yeah,
zoo?
we were it kind of was. I'm talking about birds, monkeys, a number of dogs. No cats. There were no cats, but definitely had a few birds, had turtles, goldfish. Yeah, I did say monkey, specifically chimpanzee.
You had a
that was
you had
that
a
was
chimpanzee?
I
You ain't had no chimpanzee. Get out of there. I don't know
um
nobody
I
in the hood that had
I
chimpanzees
didn't.
now. I mean, I ain't said you was from the hood or something, but
No, but believe it or not, it's my mom. My mom had a chimpanzee. She
your
had a
mom had a chimpanzee?
My mom had a
What?
chimpanzee. She had
Okay.
chihuahuas, poodles. She had a Doberman named Genghis Khan, who unfortunately was stolen out of our yard at the time. Beautiful red color coat with gray eyes. Beautiful purebred dog. So yeah, so if you guys haven't realized, I am an animal lover, and I love reptiles too. So I don't keep reptiles, but I have an affinity for snakes and for lizards and frogs and all those types of things. I love reptiles.
Well, me and you. I'm now. See, I got to make sure when I come to your house to look under every chair, every couch, in the toilet, anywhere that's your business. Now that's your house. You can have anything you want
No, I
in your house,
only
and
have two dogs now.
birds
I
and
only have
stuff flying
I never
around, and monkeys jumping all over the furniture and all that old stuff. And I'm not me. I couldn't have no. See, and creepy crawlers and furry little things and stuff. They look pretty on the TV, but I don't need you around me because I might think you're red or something. Go up in my cereal and all that. I can't have all that now.
yeah.
And thinking they hear me and see. Now I'm for pet owners and lovers. Now you have what you want in your household. That is okay with me. I got nothing to say about that. But when it comes down to me, and I know I got to sit on the couch and something is wiggling on my behind, and I don't know what it is, then what am I supposed to think? Or my company comes over. Say for instance, Aunt Sally comes over. She know I ain't got no. She don't know what I got in the house. She ain't getting in my room or nothing. So the thing gets out the tank or whatever, the cage or whatever, and fall on Aunt Mary's head and her wig. Jesus. And on a Sunday, imagine if it was on Sunday dinner now, and some
Lord
creep up on Aunt Sally, Uncle Charlie's leg, and he go to shouting and kicking the table over and stuff, and y'all think he having a fit, and it's
Lord
something crawled up. I can't have them accidents and stuff flying on people and stuff. I can't have all that. Oh,
Well,
he's a part of the house.
at
He's a
least
part of the house.
at least we know you're not going to have any issues with bubonic plague. You don't have pets, but there's another disease out there that is actually of a concern, and a news article was put out by a number of websites, but this one is by American Military News, stating killer disease is spreading at illegal immigrant shelters. And that caught my attention. So again, we're dealing with Chicago's public health department announcing on last Wednesday that a small number of tuberculosis cases have been documented at illegal immigrant shelters. Now, again, the Chicago Department of Public Health did not reveal much information about the number of confirmed tuberculosis cases. We're talking about TB, or which illegal immigrant shelters were affected by the outbreak. However, they did confirm that it's a small number of TB cases that have been reported at a few different shelters as of last Wednesday. The health officials explained that medical teams are increasing contact tracing efforts, stating that these outbreaks happen in close quarters, people who are living close to one another. This was stated by Dr. Hazra, a professor at the University of Chicago, telling Fox 32 Chicago that the public currently does not need to panic over the reports of tuberculosis, and explained that the people most at risk of infection are other illegal immigrants in the city shelters. So Fox 32 Chicago reported that the tuberculosis outbreak follows the recent outbreak of over 55 cases of measles in the city. However, while measles can be prevented through vaccines, Dr. Hazra has stated, and this is knowledge to me as well, that there is currently no effective vaccine against tuberculosis. Also noting that the World Health Organization describes tuberculosis as the world's top infectious killer. So not too sure what's happening out there in Chicago. Another physician, a pediatrician from Northwestern Medicine, Huntley Hospital, told Fox 32 that tuberculosis, which is a bacterial disease that typically affects a person's lungs, can only be spread by someone with active TB, stating that it's spread by individuals coughing up droplets, so coughing up saliva and things like that. Said it's important. The important thing is trying to figure out who there has the active disease and properly treating them. So yeah, this almost it almost reminds me of when we were in the heart of the pandemic, where, you know, just coughing became a stigma. I mean, let's be honest, during the heart of the pandemic, how many of us, someone coughed and we kind of moved away just a little bit. So yeah, this is a little bit concerning. The Chicago Department of Health is aware again of a small number of cases among new arrivals in a few different shelters over the course of the response. They said it's important to note that an estimated 10 to 20% of residents in Central and South America have latent TB infection, which is asymptomatic and not transmissible to others, but does result in a positive TB test. And so don't want anyone to panic, but just want you guys to know what's going on. Yeah, James, the bubonic plague and tuberculosis. What's going on?
Well, I think that professionals have forgotten about these other diseases. We've been concentrating on our health and our immune systems with the pandemic that had wreaked havoc on the world, not just our country. And to hear about other diseases and flus, and then there is still a strain of C19 out there, and we have to be careful about even now. We should be cautious about closed-in spaces and being in confined spaces, because it's an airborne. It was an airborne situation, and we have to be just careful and cautious about things that are going on our overall health. That goes for me to get ourselves regularly checked and make sure that we're halfway. You know, we don't eat right. I know they say I don't eat right, but I enjoy a good meal. I don't eat like I used to, so I'm going to start doing. I don't. I got to exercise a little bit more and get myself in shape.
And listen, it's never too late to get summer ready. Okay, get your summer situation ready. I am hoping, as one of our listeners said, that the Trump campaign is not going to try to use this to say that, you know, the illegal immigrants are bringing in diseases, because right now they're claiming that they're bringing in, you know, the crime, not a crime or just crime, the crime, and all those things. But again, quite frightening that we're seeing what I would consider to be ancient diseases that are resurfacing. So again, just have to be aware. There are things out there that can definitely harm you. And as James said, we need to definitely monitor our health and just stay aware of what's going on. So, all right, we're going to get into some P. Diddy stuff right after this commercial break, and we will be right back.
You're listening to The Morning Takeover with Wisdom's Daughter and James Mack on 92.7 WKRA FM, your station for information and inspiration. Breaking news, current events, and trending stories on The Morning Takeover at 9.
Butters and Black Soap offers high-quality, handcrafted butters, black soaps, and oils made with all-natural ingredients that improve the appearance of hair, skin, and nails. Try Butters and Black Soap's amazing collection of African black soaps sourced from Ghana and infused with ingredients such as turmeric, oatmeal, sea moss, coconut milk, activated charcoal, and more to promote healthy-looking skin. Say goodbye to dry, cracked skin with the Sea Moss Body Cream by Butters and Black Soaps. This non-greasy formula will leave your skin soft and supple. If you want to achieve a natural, healthy glow, try one of their whipped shea butters. Indulge in the luxurious feel of African black soaps and more by Butters and Black Soap. Shop now at www.butters_blacksoap.com. Use custom code WISDOM for a 15% discount. Shop now.
Wisdom's Daughter and James Mack are dominating the airways with The Morning Takeover on 92.7 WKRA FM, your station for information and inspiration. Would you like to advertise your business on the radio? We're seeking sponsors for The Morning Takeover. Space is limited, so act now. Send an email to morningtakeoverjw@gmail.com for more information. You're listening to The Morning Takeover with Wisdom's Daughter and James Mack on 92.7 WKRA FM, your station for information and inspiration.
And we are back, 92.7 WKRA, James and Wisdom. We've been talking about a number of things this morning, but we definitely want to let you know, if you're interested in advertising your business, send us an email at morningtakeoverjw@gmail.com, and we will advertise your business on the radio. We syndicate our show. You can get the show in a number of states, including Mississippi and Georgia. You can also listen to it live, and you can also catch us on YouTube at Your Man on the Street 1. All right, so James, we got to talk about Diddy. We got to talk about Diddy briefly, and then we're going to get into the real story, which is about prisons. And we're asking the question, have prisons become the new plantation? But before we get into that, let's talk about this Diddy situation. So Diddy is in trouble once again, another lawsuit. He is under fire for grooming, allegedly, a woman in the latest lawsuit. And so another woman has come forward accusing disgraced rapper Sean Diddy Combs of grooming her into human trafficking and SCX trafficking in the latest lawsuit against the music mogul. So Audria English detailed how she, along with a partner and another model, were allegedly expected to engage in oral activity with Combs in exchange for a modeling job, which they refused. Now, despite the initial refusal, English mentioned that her partner was offered a second chance if she agreed to work as a go-go dancer at one of Combs' events in the Hamptons. Accepting the offer, English started working at Combs' parties regularly, where she claimed she was required to flirt with guests and consume alcoholic beverages laced with narcotics. As the events progressed, English alleges that Combs demanded that she have activity with jeweler Jacob Arabov, a request she claims she complied with, leading to further expectations of being passed off to other individuals by Combs. These encounters reportedly resulted in additional payments and congratulatory remarks from the rapper. English also filed a lawsuit against Tamiko Thomas, whom she accused of facilitating Combs' alleged trafficking operations, drawing parallels to Ghislaine Maxwell's involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Despite working with the hopes of advancing her music career, English claimed that Combs manipulated her aspirations, eventually leading to emotional trauma and ruined prospects within the industry. She is seeking unspecified damages and aims to address the lasting impacts of the alleged exploitation. And so, these allegations are very similar to what we saw and what we've seen in other lawsuits. And I believe this is lawsuit number 8, 9, 10. I mean, there have been so many lawsuits since Cassie originated her lawsuit in November of 2023. Since then, many of you have already seen and heard about the disturbing video of Sean Diddy Combs physically assaulting his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, back in 2016. Other rappers have come forward, other people have come forward, including producer Rodney Little Rod Jones, also accusing him of SA and grooming tactics by Combs and other people associated with him. And so you would think that amongst another lawsuit that Diddy would be laying low, but he was actually seen whitewater rafting recently. So he decides his response to this lawsuit is to go to Wyoming, to Jackson Hole, for a whitewater rafting trip. And so he broke his cover over the weekend. This was about a week ago, where he was spotted enjoying a whitewater rafting trip in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, according to Radar Online. Diddy has been largely laying low since the release of the video, again showing him assaulting his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. Last month, the Bad Boys Records founder completely wiped his Instagram account of all posts, including the controversial apology video where he addressed the shocking surveillance footage. So that's interesting, James. He basically has scrubbed his Instagram, and I did take a look at it, and I'm just wondering why did he remove the apology? You put it up there. So what is he trying to hide something? This is all really, really interesting stuff.
Yes.
Where does it end? Where does it end? How many more victims are out there?
Probably more than we could count, probably. This young man has made tremendous success. He has climbed corporate ladders that others had not, and he came from the neighborhood. I like to look at the background of a person to see what their psyche is. And this is amazing to me that even now they're still there. I mean, there's a real good reason they're out to ruin this young man. And he has problems that I can't comment on because I don't know as much as I would like to know. But he's in some real trouble. Business wise, financially, he's in trouble. That's what I can.
His children, his kids are impacted by this. You made a comment about people trying to destroy him. I think he, again, well, let's just say this: he hasn't been proven guilty of a crime, so we can say allegedly. But what's not alleged is that video. That video has made it clear that Diddy has some issues. That video was really, really hard to watch. Many people are, have called him a predator, a disappointment. And the interesting thing is, and we're not going to talk about this too long, but the interesting thing is a lot of people in his inner circle, including a number of celebrities, were well aware that these things were going on and had been going on. Now, both of his homes in Los Angeles and Miami, and it was also stated in New York as well, were raided by the feds. And there's also the potential that he could be looking at a RICO for trafficking, because this is I've lost count with the numbers, but a number of victims have come forward, many of them with evidence stating that he has trafficked them, he has forced them or coerced them into taking not even recreational drugs, but heavy narcotics, and then took advantage of them or of that vulnerability. Now, what I also learned is that Diddy has put his Los Angeles mansion up for sale, and there are people saying that he's looking to get out of Los Angeles. So, as we know, again, his LA home was raided, the Miami home was raided as a part of a federal trafficking investigation. So he's already under investigation for this. They took tapes, they took the video, they completely trashed his house looking for a number of things. And in addition to that, this home that he's looking to, that he has put on the market, or it's off market, that he's looking to sell, he paid $40 million for it, and he's looking to make a $30 million profit because he's selling it. He's selling it for $70 million. So I don't know who is going to purchase Diddy's home for $70 million, but it does sound like that he is trying to separate himself from, his current situation. And I don't think that's going to be that easy. I mean, this is a lot. He lied. Remember, James, he actually lied and said that he didn't do anything and that Cassie was trying to destroy his reputation. And then the video comes out, and then he apologizes, although he doesn't mention Cassie's name, which he was not able to do so, for legal purposes. And then he takes the video down. Like, I don't understand what that's about. But again, according to TMZ, the music mogul is looking to sell his mansion off the market. So he's trying to do an off-market sale for $30 million more than the $40 million he paid for it in 2014. So $70 million. And TMZ is claiming that Diddy wants out of LA and does not plan to buy another home in LA. So he is trying to literally remove himself. But I don't think that's going to help him very much because, as one of our listeners said, it might be too late for Diddy. He can run, but he can't hide. And another listener said, everybody can't be lying on Diddy. Usually where there's smoke, there's fire. So again, it's just really interesting that how this has played out. Again, lawsuit after lawsuit after lawsuit with several men and women claiming the exact same thing. Everyone can't be lying. He vehemently denies, and his lawyer on his behalf denies any wrongdoing. The video comes out. Now Diddy is exposed. And then he apologizes. And you don't apologize for something that you didn't do. And so that was admission right there. But then he scrubs his Instagram and he takes down the video. I think it's a little too late. I'm not sure what Diddy is thinking of, but again, he has made a decision to unload his Holmby Hills home 3 months after federal authorities raided the property on March 25th. And they didn't just raid the prop; they came with heavy artillery. And when you see something like that, you've got to assume that there is something very, very, very wrong with that picture. What are your thoughts? Do you have any thoughts on the situation, and what do you think is Diddy's next move? Like, how does he come back from all of this?
Well, he better have good legal counsel, and
sure.
not to. Well, I'm sure the house is a house of horror. Somebody will buy it for nostalgia's sake. They got what they want out of it. They got the DVRs, all of the recording devices, so there's nothing in there. I wouldn't want to go in there because of the diabolical things that were going on in there. So I'm not really satisfied with.
Can Diddy come back from this?
Well, he is going to be the scapegoat. He is the one that's going to take all of the brunt of things. He's the one that's been picked out in that powerful position to, he's going to be the one. No, he's not going to come out of it. If he comes out of this, he's got it will take a legal miracle because of all the evidence that they have and because of who he is. He will not come through with this. This is something that uh, this young man, whomever his advisors are, there's somebody behind him. Okay, he couldn't get to where he is and be of the stature that he's at by himself. So who's the puppet master behind him? He's just the face of it. They
No,
can let him be the
I
cash.
have to disagree. I think he's very much the puppet master, and many people in his team have come forward and say Diddy calls all the shots. He is the puppet master. He's going to, if he is convicted, he's not going to be taking the fall for anyone but for himself. I mean, this photograph. Those of you who are watching via YouTube, Diddy goes on a whitewater rafting trip with several members of his crew, and there's a photographer there, right, who's kind of, photo journaling the trip. This is the same weekend that he's hit with allegations and additional charges and another lawsuit claiming the same thing as trafficking and so many other things. And so, I don't think this is a good way to respond. I do agree with him maybe potentially laying low, but his people who've worked with him in the past, one of his bodyguards and so forth, but a number of people have come forward to say that they've been witnessing this for a long time. Diddy and Donald Trump seem to have a lot in common. They don't listen to their team. They don't listen to their advisors. Diddy, there's a number of videos of him losing his mind, taking a phone and smashing it, saying that he gets whatever he wants, throwing what looks like an adult tantrum. So I think this is going to be a challenge for him. One of our listeners said, I think a lot more celebrities are going to be exposed. My question is, who's next? Right. Who else is going to be exposed, and who else is going to come forward as a result of Cassie kind of opening this Pandora's box, where she was courageous, and for that reason other people have felt the courage to also come forward. But I agree with you, he's going to need a strong legal team. You're talking about, let me put it back up, you're talking about Homeland Security investigators. Homeland Security comes knocking at your door and raiding your home. It's not good. They don't do that unless they already have some information. My question is, what is it going to take before they move forward with some type of criminal charges or something? I don't know if they're gathering evidence. Not sure. But again, Diddy's response to this most recent lawsuit is just really strange. He responds by going whitewater rafting in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. So yeah, not sure what to make of that, James. This is going to be a wait and see. But I don't know. It seems like 2024 is just a year of exposure. I mean, so many people are being exposed. So many things are being exposed. And it sounds like Diddy may have had a several decades of an operation that nobody knew about. And if that, in fact, is the case, it is absolutely frightening. Now, another thing to note is that there are people that are pulling their support back from Diddy. So the New York City mayor, Eric Adams, has revoked Diddy's honorary key to the city. And also the city of Miami Beach revoked an official proclamation of Sean Diddy Combs Day, which had been established in October of 2016. That's the same year that he did what we saw in the video, which was to punch and kick and drag his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. That same year and around that same time, he's been given his own day, Sean Diddy Combs Day. And this was in a unanimous vote by the city commissioners on June 26. Again, New York City Mayor Eric Adams revoked his honorary key to the city. And we are also learning that Miami Beach has revoked Sean Diddy Combs Day. Did you know that there was a Sean Diddy Combs Day? Did you know that? I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know.
Right.
Well, they're giving everybody a day, I guess. I don't know. It
You know,
might. I don't know. I have no idea. That's he needs some serious counsel. He's going to need somebody to come in and mop up this mess that's being made because it affects a whole lot of people, and in the industry, outside of the industry, the consequences of what people do. So, hey, I hope that he got his ducks lined up in the row. That's all I can say.
he's gonna need it. He's gonna need the best lawyers money can buy. And one of our listeners reminded us that Howard University also revoked Diddy's honorary degree. Now,
Mm.
Diddy has not specifically responded to all these allegations, with the exception of the apology video that he has now taken down. But he did again largely deny any wrongdoing, stating back in December of last year, sickening allegations have been made against me by individuals looking for a quick payday. Let me be absolutely clear. These are Diddy's words. I did not do any of the awful things being alleged. I will fight for my name, my family, and for the truth. This is what he said last year. And what is bothersome is that these moguls, these celebrities, these entertainers, their go-to is, oh, someone is just trying to get money from me. They're lying because they're just looking to get a quick payday. Well, again, as it would have it, just not even 6 months later, he would be exposed. Meredith Firetalk, who is a partner at the law firm representing Cassie Ventura, basically responded by saying that when Cassie and multiple other women came forward, he, meaning Diddy, denied everything and suggested that his victims were looking for a payday, that he was only compelled to quote unquote apologize once his repeated denials were proven false, shows his pathetic desperation, and no one will be swayed by his disingenuous words, again coming from Cassie's representation. So this is just a wait and see. It's not looking good for Diddy. I'm pretty sure as time goes on, there will be more information that will be coming out, and we'll keep you abreast of what is going on. All right, so we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to get into a very serious conversation. And that is, have prisons become the new plantation in America? This is Wisdom and James on 92.7 WKRA, and we'll be right back.
You're listening to The Morning Takeover with Wisdom's Daughter and James Mack on 92.7 WKRA FM, your station for information and inspiration. Breaking news, current events, and trending stories on The Morning Takeover at 9. Wisdom's Daughter and James Mack are dominating the airways with The Morning Takeover on 92.7 WKRA FM, your station for information and inspiration. Would you like to advertise your business on the radio? We're seeking sponsors for The Morning Takeover. Space is limited, so act now. Send an email to morningtakeoverjw@gmail.com for more information. You're listening to The Morning Takeover with Wisdom's Daughter and James Mack on 92.7 WKRA FM, your station for information and inspiration.
And we're back on the Morning Takeover show. I'm James Mack. I'm here with our wonderful uh, co-host, Wisdom's Daughter. She's here, and we're just grateful that we have this opportunity. There's so many things that are going on, and yes, we have to look at the root problems and the root causes of what's going on with these people that we look up to, and we celebrate their celebrity, and we see them going down some terrible lanes in life. So there has to be some kind of intervention. Hopefully, he can get his problems solved. From what I know, he really is going to need some help. And we're on WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial, and we're also streaming live off of the James Man on Street page. for the YouTubers. We're glad to have you. We're glad to have everybody that's in the chat. And as I said before, rejoicing that we have our co-host. She's back, and I'm grateful for uh, her return. Also, that there are a number of you that have actually inquired about advertising. You still can inquire and make those inquiries. I like to say hello to all of our everybody that supports this broadcast. Hello to Kim D. Wynn. Hello, how are you? We'll get a chance to talk and all. And thank you for listening. Thank you for all that you're doing for the morning takeover for all of our. I said what I said. I see you out there, Iman Moore, and I see Alice, blessed child of God. I see all of you all that are here, and those of you all that are hiding in the bushes. We're appreciative to you also. There's a uh, there was a story that was sent to me about a situation going on in the state of Mississippi. And those of you that know that the Mid South is where we coverage, our radio coverage is, and some people they sent me this. They sent an article to me with unusual information about the prison systems and how prisoners are being treated in the state of Mississippi. Now, we know that for those of you that know anything about the system in the state of Mississippi, the Parchman Correctional Center is one of the problematic trials that they have. That is the state penitentiary right outside of Drew, I think, in Sunflower County, and that's the main Department of Corrections facility that people are talking about. It is extremely hot here in the South. And if you live in Texas and Alabama and Georgia and Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee, you live in those states, you know it can get really, really hot here. And the concern that is in this article was about the treatment and the treatment of those that are incarcerated. There's no air conditioning in some of these places. There's no working AC. There has to be, you have to buy a fan off of, they have that's what they call a commissary list or a list where you can get things that you might want to buy. They put that on the, uh, where you can go to any dollar outlet and get it for less than what they charge for. They charge almost $30 for a 8-inch fan, and this is a significant amount of money to a person that earns between 20 cents and $1.30. It says here per hour for various industry jobs that they do uh, with the Department of Corrections. They privately operate um, these services. They're whatever it is that they assemble or put together. There's a contract with the Department of Corrections for those persons with various skills to produce those goods. They work hard, and between the dollar 20 cents and $1.30 an hour, that's not even. I mean, come on, look at that. It's slave labor, I would say. I mean, what are you going to do? And if you got to spend $30 of your money almost to get a fan to keep you cool, that says a whole lot. Now, in the article, it was stating that the legislature was late on their monies, and that last year they said air conditioning was installed in three-fourths of the Mississippi penitentiary at Parchment, according to Commissioner Kane. He said that the estimates would be that by 2025, air conditioning will be available in units 29 south of that same, and the institution in Southern Mississippi Correctional Institution down in the southern part of the state in Leakesville is depending. They say that they're depending on the funding, they'll do what they have to do. So people are suffering, and are the prisons now the new plantation? That was a question that I asked. With 2025 plan is that's out there and that has been out there, like I said, more than a week, And this detailed 920-page document is out in the ether, and everybody can read it and observe it. What will happen to the regulations of those that are behind and incarcerated? The majority of people that are incarcerated are people of color, whether they be Hispanic or whether they be African American. There are very few Asians and very few people of other descents from the Middle East. There are very few that are in our prison systems, but the majority of the people that are in our prison systems are people of color. And with what surprised me was the wages. This is what they're paying. Now, this is Mississippi. They 20 cents, between 20 cents and $1.30 an hour. So the top job is $1.30 an hour. You're making big money. You're on the top of the heap. You're in managerial spot or something, and you're doing responsibilities like carpentry and plumbing and so forth and so on. They got specialty units that have people of that skill set in those specific positions, working on cars, working on the fleet of cars that they have. Prisoners work on cars in the automotive shop, working under the guise of the Department of Corrections, but they're working on things. They're cooking the meals. Who cooks the meals? Who cooks the meal for all those people? Inmates do it. And whether it's a privilege or whatever the case may be, you eat what you want. But um, $1.30 is the top pay that you will receive per hour working in one of these facilities. Do they care? And I'm not saying a person that's incarcerated or did something wrong or was convicted should live like they're in a country club. But when you have temperatures reaching on a average day in one of those units, the heat index outside is 100, but it's 130 inside, 25 more. I mean, you're up there in the heat at, I mean, 72 hours. Sometimes people are in their cells all the time, and it's hot, no air. That fan is blowing hot air. I mean, we got to be humane about things. And is this the new plantation? Are these workers, are these people working and doing various things from farming, agriculture to mechanical to manufacturing? They used to do license plates for different companies and for different states, or each state had a license plates bureau that they used prisoners to make license plates. They had them on the fields or in the agriculture fields picking fruits and vegetables at a certain rate. Have anybody ever seen the picture? Was it called the Shawshank Redemption? I don't mean to bore you with that, but with the Shawshank Redemption, uh, this guy had an operation inside of the prison, could get you anything you want. Marilyn Monroe pictures and all kinds of things, sipping whiskey, tobacco, cards, whatever the case. He was the man inside. And the warden had him a little operation going. So when the lumber yard needed extra work and extra hands to get extra contracts to build highways, well, the warden would send out his inmates, and they worked. Some of them didn't even get anything, but maybe an extra sandwich or something like that, and he got the kickback. So it's, I mean, you got a free labor force. They're doing good. We good when we get something free, but when we have to pay for it. And that's why I say that workers should have collective bargaining, and they should bring the unions back, because they're people that are working in some unsanitary, unworkable situations. And if the regulations change with 2025, if that implement comes in, they're going to dismantle all of those things. So back to the story of this hot, miserable place. Of course, it is a place of correction. People go there that have to pay their um, debt to society by being incarcerated. And what do you do when you don't have just the basic? You can't raise a window. Yeah, there are bars there, but you can't raise a window, or you can't get the ventilation you need. If they put a fan out or something like that, it's just making it miserable. And I'm not saying, as I said before, it's not that everybody should be able to live in some kind of comfort. You have to pay for your penalties that you've been convicted of. Yes, But then, are we not supposed to treat people like they're human beings? You're not even going to make $2 putting together the little mechanisms and toys, or you're you're sewing shirts together, or you're sewing fabrics together for the department stores, blue jeans, or whatever the case may be. Whatever this industrial complex has in mind, they're going to take you. And I keep telling people all the time, be careful for what you ask for. Here in Mississippi, you're not going to get the welcome that you're going to get the humane. I'm not saying that they're going to treat you terrible, but from what we read and what we see, yeah, you're going to be in a hot box. Yeah, it gets cold. Now, if you know it gets hot, you know that there's something wrong with the heating system. It get cold, the plumbing could fail, or whatever the case may be. In Mississippi, where our area listeners from WKRA, if somebody knows somebody in the Department of Corrections custody of some kind. Are they being treated right? Or are they just the new plantation? They get told when to get up. They tell you when to go to work. They tell you who to visit. They tell you when it's time to eat. You can't move. You can't operate. You have no freedoms, which that's what incarceration is for. But should they be treated as human beings? 110, 112. This is 130 degrees in the heat, concrete, and God knows what, human beings everywhere around, and no air, no
You know,
air.
think about it, James.
Yes,
So the situation is the fact that there's no air conditioning and they're basically being subjected to inhumane conditions. We've done a number of stories on children left in hot cars, right? So,
yes,
we smash windows, we get the person out immediately, we treat them, we go after the parents to say, what is it that you're doing? So, why is it that these prisoners are being subjected to the same thing? Now, here's my response. My response is, if we're making the comparison between prisons and plantations were designed to not be comfortable. They were designed designed and set up so that the slaves would not leave, would not be able to leave, would not be able to run. So those of you who are joining us
right,
on Facebook, we've got some photos put up of just some of the inhumane conditions. Slaves were basically treated like property. One of our
yeah.
listeners actually just said it just a minute ago. The 13th Amendment allows prisoners to be treated as slaves. And so I looked it up. And sure enough, the 13th Amendment to the United States Constitution provides that neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within United States or any place
The new
subject to
plantation.
jurisdiction.
Yes,
So
the new plantation. Yeah,
ultimately, like our listener said, that in this country, the 13th Amendment allows prisoners to be treated as slaves. Another listener said prisons in America is a $74 billion industry. So that is
that's
a
a lot of
big
money.
yes, that prisons are the new slave trade. Now, the reason why I wanted us to raise this topic is because, as you said, when we look at the numbers of incarcerations, it's primarily African Americans. And so the question is this the new plantation? Are prisons the new slave trade? Is this a way to kind of rally us back to a place where we are subjected to being under the foot, the
Right.
knee, of those who deem to be superior to us? And as we
Well,
saw with Project 2025, it's starting to appear that they're looking
yeah.
to take us that way. And you mentioned it. Yes, these people aren't many, not all, most of the people in jail are in jail because they committed a crime. We do recognize that there may be some people who are incarcerated who are actually innocent. However, don't they have a right to humane conditions to a certain extent?
Yeah.
And I
You
would
would
say
think so. You would think
say
so.
absolutely, because at the end of the day, what are we saying in this country? The other issue for me when it comes to prisons is that, as I said earlier, plantations were designed so that people, even if they ran, even when slaves ran, they had slave catchers that would come and get them and bring them right back. Well, when I look at the prison system, if you look at recidivism, it's high. they designed this system so that when you go out, you get so much as a parking ticket, you get so much as someone pointing the finger at you, you get so much as you miss a meeting with your parole officer, or you're on probation and you have an encounter with the police, and you're right back where you are. So
Right.
there's a big systemic issue here with our prison system, and the fact that there's such a disparity between African American incarcerations, which I don't have the numbers in front of me, but we know that we represent less than 13% of the population, but we represent the majority of the prison population. How can that be?
Right. And then also with those staggering statistics, we have to look at the fact that they're making cash money off of these prisoners wherever they are, not just Parchman, Mississippi, but they have private prisons that's on the stock market. Uh, I don't know what the call letters are. I don't want to give them any kind of advertising anyway, but it's there. They're on the New York Stock Exchange. Prisons are big business. It is big business, or shall we say slavery, the new slavery, according to the amendment in the Constitution that the prisoner is supposed to be treated like. So they haven't, and all of these young fellas, all of you all that are rooting and saying, well, if you don't go to jail, you got no rep. When you get into that system, you're in their control, regardless of who's running it, who has a gang affiliation. I mean, or they have any kind of affiliation to any kind of other organizations or whatever the case may be. You're going to do what they tell you to do. They have a way of doing it. We were talking about something in latter weeks that when we came on about how they would inject something into your memory to allow you not to have the memory that you have of the crime that you committed. So
Oh no,
if they can,
we were talking about them showing them the crime that they did from the victim's
exactly.
perspective as a means of trying to reform them in a shorter amount of time, in minutes rather than years. And we talked about, obviously you
But
said,
then also, if they, and also that we said, if they can do that,
yeah.
just say if they can do that alone, what else do they have that can do things? I can make me a workforce that they won't complain. They won't ask for OSHA. They won't ask for a union. They won't ask for no money because why? It doesn't matter to them. If we could do this and keep them under control like this without any complaints and get the work done in the assembly line and get the work done with the battery factories and they reap the benefits from people. It's just like homelessness. Homelessness is a big business. Homeless shelters get such benefits to take care of those that are unhoused. But you get a lot of complaints from people. They get substandard food, or the food goes to those that receive it in these charities and different things. And I'm not saying all of them, but you hear about it. You hear about it, and you see this that's happening, and it's disturbing to me that just the simple something that will keep people living and as air conditioning. You mean to tell me that in the offices they have air conditioner, they have air conditioners in the warden's office and everywhere else, but the people that you got a duty to secure and make sure that there's no trouble, you treat them like they're inhumane.
Do
It
you
says here,
go ahead?
yes,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
it says here just briefly that during this visit that they had at the Parchment Correctional Center, they said that the superintendent informed the residents that the air conditioning would not be turned on for the foreseeable future. The head man came in there and said the air is going to be off for undetermined. I'm just going to shut it off until I get tired. And the incarcerated women expressed frustration, and they said that no, while emotional support dogs have access to air. Those dogs that go after people and the slave catchers, the new slave catchers is the guards. I think that's what they were saying.
Yeah,
They
the
got their
guard.
dogs in air conditioning. No offense to dog lovers and no offense to to pet lovers, but and they said that we get stuck and we're here and we're hot and we got there's no air in here
Now,
and
it could be. It could be, and there are some people that may say, well, they're in jail. They're not in jail to be comfortable. However,
Yeah.
you're talking about a health concern, because just like with the
Yes.
analogy with a child, in a hot car. Now, there are some people who may think that air conditioning is a luxury. One of our listeners actually brought up the stats, and thank you so much to Alice, blessed child of God, says Black people represent 13% of the population, but make up 30% of those incarcerated. Now, that math is just not math, and James, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I'm thinking about Hurricane Katrina in Louisiana.
Yeah.
When the hurricane happened, when the levees broke, I shouldn't say we, because I didn't live there, I wasn't there, but ultimately what we saw was New Orleans, especially parish prison, those prisoners were abandoned. They were burning mattresses and hanging them out the window. The wardens ultimately left them, and so they were left in the jails, still locked in, with water coming in, with no air conditioning, no ventilation whatsoever, passing out and everything like that. Eventually, I do believe some of those prisoners did break out. I did a paper on it actually when I was working on my master's degree years ago, and just about the inhumane conditions. Yes, we are running prisons, but there still needs to be a level of humanity. And like you said, you're talking about 100+ degrees. What is a fan gonna do but just blow 100+ degrees? I can definitely relate. The AC is out of my car right now, and so my car is gonna be fixed soon. But it's like you get into you unlock your car. All the windows were up, and if you have leather seats, forget about it. I don't have leather seats, thank God. Get into the car. It's 100+ degrees, right? I start the car up. I roll the windows down, but normally people would turn on their AC and then they get that relief. It's cool. But when you don't have AC, basically whatever air is blowing is hot air. And until you get to a highway, you're driving at a certain speed, there's no relief. And so again, the question is, have prisons become the new plantation? And I think we can all agree, yes. I think the other question that I wanted to bring to the table for us to consider is that the way prisons are set up, as you said, they give them jobs to do. They make a few dollars that go, on their books. We pay taxes that have to go toward supporting these prisons. Now, we know corporations have made, money and everything else like that. But when you look at the prison system, how it's designed, there's a commissary, right? That means if you're in prison, I can call and put money, on the phone so you can call me. I can put money on your book so you can buy, cigarettes, or I don't even know if you smoke, but you can buy candy or whatever you want to buy. But that system of having, of having the ability to have extra treats or a little something has kind of caused a crabs in a barrel type of society, because now you have illegal activity occurring in the jails where people are trading cigarettes for favors. Well, if they didn't have cigarettes, they wouldn't be able to trade anything. Where people are being, beaten up and abused because of jealousy, because you got money on your books and I don't, so I'm gonna take what you have. So it's not an equal playing field. It reminds me of the field Negro versus the house Negro, right? And so the field Negro is in the field all day long. It's hot. They don't have the same privileges. The house Negro is in the house. It's cooler in the house. They're able to do other jobs that's not back, breaking work. And so there now comes this jealousy and this conflict between the field Negro and the house Negro, right? Wow. Someone said John Oliver did a great episode on the U.S. Prison system, so we will definitely check that out. I don't think our prison systems are really designed for designed to help criminals to what's the word that I'm looking for? To
rehabilitate.
It's not designed for rehabilitation. I think it's designed for recidivism. As I said, it's designed for a revolving door. One, because again, they've learned that it's big business. Two, because if we can incarcerate, 30, we make up 37% of those incarcerated, right? I would have to do the numbers to find out how much of the Black population is incarcerated, because those are the numbers that I want to know. Now, we make up 37% of those incarcerated, but out of the 13%, what is the percentage out of that 13% that's incarcerated? Those are the numbers that I want to know. Those are the numbers
Right.
that I need to look up. But it's not designed for rehabilitation, James. It's designed like a modern day plantation, and it's our
And you
people
go
majority that are in there.
and you go back to the what one of our listeners said about what's in the law. Well, it's in the Constitution, overlooked, rarely seen. Words mean something. This contract with America, this Bill of Rights, and the things and the Constitution that our government hinges upon, has that mechanism in place. As long as I got you in jail, you be what I want you to be. Okay, that means slave. You're gonna work for free. If you don't, there are punishments that they'll give you, put you in the hole or what have you. It's not a funny situation, but you're at their whim. So if you want to live and have that freedom, and we're trying to talk to everybody. Look, this is their way of doing things. 13th Amendment, it's there. I mean, it's right there, letting you know exactly you neither slave nor involuntary servitude, except punishment by crime, wherefore the parties shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jury. You can be over in the territory
We have made
in the
slavery
Virgin
legal.
Islands.
We've
Yeah,
made
yeah,
slavery legal in this country
yeah.
for convicted
Ever.
criminals, ultimately, and for
Yeah.
convicted criminals. But
So
we
so
know
Donald Trump is a slave then. See, he's a slave
well,
now.
if he is sentenced. So here's the interesting part. So this is the 13th Amendment. But we know that not
Uh-huh.
everyone that's convicted actually gets sentenced to jail time. But if that's the case, you're absolutely right. Donald Trump technically
Yeah.
is a slave of this country according to the 13th Amendment.
I
But the
sure like to be that. No.
yeah, the scary part is, and I said what I said. One of our listeners says people treat animals better than they do people of color. Absolutely, the
Okay.
scary part is this is already written into our Constitution, and
Right.
so what is stopping? There are some people who will say, no, there's no way we will go back to Jim Crow. There's no way that we would go back to slavery days. It's already here. It's not far-fetched that we could lose our voting
Yeah,
rights.
right.
We've already lost
Exactly.
women have already lost reproductive rights, right? As has been said, it's been recommended that it's back in the hands of the state. So we've already lost reproductive rights. It is not
Right.
far-fetched that we could lose other civil rights, such as the right to vote, such as the right to equality and other things, and even with equality we know that we're still very, very far from it. But it is not so far-fetched that the hands of time could be rolled back and could take us back to a place
Right.
where it is looking like that old America prior to now. We just celebrated Juneteenth and we just celebrated Independence Day. And you just the last show that you did last week, or last week, one of the shows you talked about it. Is that potentially going to be our last July 4th? This country is living in a space of uncertainty. We don't know what's going to
Yeah.
happen. And that's why we need to
Yeah.
continue to have these conversations. But again, I think it's terrible
Yeah.
that the people
Yeah.
in that Mississippi jail are being subjected to, again, not that it's a hotel, but you're talking,
No.
as you said, James, you're talking about men who are told what to eat, when to sleep,
Yeah.
lights out. It's no walk in the park. They're afraid. Many of them are afraid for their lives, having to compromise themselves just to survive in jail. And you're talking about 100+ degree weather, and we can't even give them AC. Now, again, is that because they're looking at these prisoners as animals, or as less than animals, as property, because they're just a number? Or is it because the majority of these people in this jail are black, and black people are not people at all? You know that, right?
But I think that
James,
yeah,
did
but I think that's what they said. We were 3/4 of a
yeah,
person.
do you know
But
you're not a whole
it
person?
brings that's true. But it brings up a point that we're looking at if within Project 2025, and they say the devil's in the details. You
Hmm.
got to be able to read, and I'm almost through reading it. You have to read and you have to see what the words say. If this is the Constitution, the 13th Amendment of the United States of America, this is in there already. It's already been there. It hasn't gone anywhere. And I feel somewhat not foolish, but I feel somewhat uninformed because I should have sought out to find that answer. Where is it in this Constitution that they're continuing to get away with the way that they're treating people? Well, if I lock you up in jail, I got you. You're going to do what I tell you to do. You are the our property. You're the property of the United States. You become property then because they give you a number. You're number XYZ or whatever. I mean, that's letters, but 1, 2, 3 or whatever the case may be. So there's property. You know what I'm saying? And those people that are incarcerated, why right now, go into the average courtroom and you see nothing but black people. Go to traffic court. Like white people don't drive crazy or anything like that. I'm not talking about that, but other people of other persuasions drive. They drive crazier than we do. And you see more people in traffic court that look like me. It's a bunch of us. We're just there in my local community. You can go on any given court day and you'll see who are the prisoners getting out of the paddy wagon coming from the county jail. It's people that look just like me. So there's a just like me problem in America that no matter what they do, they're going to slip this in. And this is a loophole, as I would call it. It's a loophole. It's a loophole to let them do what they're doing, how they do it. They don't owe you anything. They don't have to give you not one dime, but they know that you like cookies and cakes and stuff like that. And you might want to get you a bag of chips or something. There's some people that live in ghetto fabulous in jail. I saw a clip one time of a federal inmate on film. I don't know how they got these phones up in there, but they got that contraband, and he has a whole cooking show on his in his bunk cooking, hooked up the stove and everything, all these wires and everything. He's in there cooking gourmet meal, look good too. I say, if you had that kind of talent and give that young man an opportunity to rehabilitate himself and get out there and own his own restaurant, he did this in jail. Not at home, not at a kitchen. And had water and sanitizer and cleaned it. The thing looked better than some people's houses. So, but we don't want to. We and like you said, the house Negro and the field Negro. And I'm going to do this analogy. That is the way that it goes. And that's the hierarchy that they have. You know, I'm going to get more benefits than you. I get an extra bag of chips. I can mop the floor. I can be out here. I'm the steward. I'm the trustee, as they say. I'm the trustee. I'm the person that I got the boss's ear.
That's right.
We
Yes,
have
yeah.
a caller. We got a caller and of someone that's going to come in. I said what I said is here, and we want to get her into hear her comment. Glad to have her here. Are you there?
I am. Good morning, James and Wisdom. How you
Good
guys
morning.
doing this
Good
morning?
morning. Good morning. Good morning. Wisdom, are
Yeah,
you there? Okay.
I'm
Okay.
Good
here.
morning.
Go
I'm
ahead.
here.
Go ahead.
I'm here.
Good morning. Good
Okay.
morning.
Now she didn't say nothing. She's in the bushes, quiet. Now they can't be quiet. Wisdom, got to come on out of there. Okay. All right. So, what is your opinion about this? I said what I said. What is your opinion about this complex, this prison complex, these things that are going on? Do prisoners deserve to have a little air and some water, or whatever the case may be, or they, as the Constitution says, they're the slaves of the plantation?
Yes, they're still human. And so why treat people like they're inhuman just because they made some mistakes? And I'm not advocating for people to be free. And I feel like if you do a crime, then you should do your time. But you shouldn't come out worse than what you were when you went in. And a lot of our prisons are creating worse criminals. It's supposed to be for rehabilitation, but that's not what's going on. How can you rehabilitate yourself when your living conditions are just horrible? Um, they're supposed to be now they institute these classes that you have to take. I watch a lot of the Louisiana board parole hearings, and that's the first thing they ask them. Did you take this class? Did you take that class? As if these classes are going to rehabilitate people and they're living in conditions like what you guys are showing on my screen, on my TV screen. The
Yeah.
the migrants that migrate into our country are treated a little bit better than this.
Yes. Yes.
At
And
least,
and and I was listening to a program that came across, and they're giving them all the provisions, and that community has come together and said, you ain't got to worry about a job, you can work with me, or we got our
right.
own little business going. See, you see what I'm saying? The entrepreneurship in our community, the coming together and saying, "Hey, fellas, let's we know that this is a service that's needed, and there's not, but it's beneath some people to cut grass or to clean toilets or whatever the case may be. These people have come and they have organized themselves. If one come, they'll all stay in one house, be 12 of them in one house, and they bring all their money to the table. They have bought that house and working on the next two. So you see what I'm saying? Even though the things are rough and things are tough, we can come together. If you can work in a prison setting at $1.30 an hour, doing what you do, that people get paid 5,000 times more than what you're making. Come out of there with a skill. Come out of, if that's rehabilitation, come on out of there and do something and not go back as a revolving door, as Wilson was saying about the revolving door. But what do you think about that? I said,
Well, it's got to be a revolving door because think about it. When you get out of prison, a lot of places, depending on what you done, a lot of places you can't even live. A lot of people won't even hire you, and it's gotten better, but it could get better than what it is. But it's like you've done your time, but when you get back out into society, nobody want to give you that opportunity to prove yourself, and
Right.
so there is going to be recidivism because what do you do? And especially like, say for instance, you was in there 25 30 years. Well, you live, the your best days been living behind bars. So when you get out of there, what are you supposed to do? If you
Absolutely.
don't have a family support
Hmm.
and you don't have the support of the community, nobody is willing to hire you. I
right.
mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna wind back up in the it's a circle, it's a revolving door. It's set up for failure, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah. There are
Well, we're
some.
gonna go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
There,
Go
are-
ahead,
there
Wisdom.
are there are some who have taken those opportunities and who've gone out there and who have gotten jobs. One of my really good girlfriends, her brother's one of them. He got a job working in a factory doing work that he was never trained to do. He taught himself how to do it on YouTube and was so successful at it that they made him a manager training other people. But I do
Yeah.
agree, he had family support. One of our listeners is saying that family support, that is important, and I agree with you. I said what I said. I don't think that this country really has really invested in their programs for those who come out of jail to ensure that they don't go
Right.
back in. I think we do set them up for failure.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
also, we want to emphasize that nobody's advocating for comfort and sweet living or anything like that, but people should be treated humanely. Listen, we're listening to WKRA 92.7 on your FM dial. This is James Mack with Wisdom's Daughter. We're just wonderfully appreciative of everybody coming on and listening. Our YouTube audience, we want to thank you for your support. All of you all that come and listen to us each and every day since we've been on the air. I'm just grateful for your being here with us. To all of our wonderful chat members, and to I said what I said, thank you for coming in. I really appreciate your participation, wisdoms around here, and doing things, and letting us know what's happening in the world. Is so I'm glad to have you back, and you be blessed and you enjoy life and enjoy this new year that God has given to you. Happy belated birthday from your clan here at us at the morning takeover. I'm sure I speak for Raven and everybody else. We wish you a happy birthday. To all of our listeners, we ask that you come back on tomorrow. We might have some more to say about this. We never know what's going to be on the agenda, but you're listening to the morning takeover. It's Wisdom and James Mack and Wisdom's daughter, and we're going to uh, continue to bring you the finest information and inspiration on this our wonderful platform that we have here. You're listening to the morning takeover. with James and Wisdom.
Wisdom's Daughter and James Mack are dominating the airways with the Morning Takeover on 92.7 WKRA FM, your station for information and inspiration. Would you like to advertise your business on the radio? We're seeking sponsors for the Morning Takeover. Space is limited, so act now. Send an email to morningtakeoverjw@gmail.com for more information. You're listening to The Morning Takeover with Wisdom's Daughter and James Mack on 92.7 WKRA FM, your station for information and inspiration.